I mean, we got to take care of the ball. In Memphis, we came out, it was a 4-point game. We turned it over 4 times. And then tonight, I think we turned it over 6 times. You can't survive those. And again, those are things that we can control. We just need to be more solid with the basketball and take the play that's in front of us instead of trying to make the play. I think that's what happens is, we find ourselves in tight basketball games, and now we're trying to press and make the play instead of letting the game come to us like it did through the first 3 quarters. So again, things that we can improve upon, that's the good thing, but we have to do it.
Closer to the Athletic, going off that with Ricky, has this ability to make some really crazy passes and crafty passes, but some of those turnovers obviously were his and guys not seeing them. Is part of that like just guys getting used to how Ricky plays and him making those passes to them and just kind of recognizing, I guess, anticipating them, or what do you see on that end, I guess?
I mean, some of them were difficult plays. But again, I trust Ricky Rubio with the basketball in his hands. There's too much history there, too much experience, that we've seen playing against him and watching tape and all those things. But we just got to make sure we're solid with the basketball. And, again, guys will get comfortable playing with one another and where we deliver the ball and those things. But that'll take a little bit of time. But we just got to cut back on when we're pressing to make the right play and just make the simple play.
And then with obviously with Darius out, so Ricky stepping in, and we've talked about like you wanting him to play to a starter's level of minutes. But what did you just see from him in his ability to step into that role with his veteran experience? But he had 15 points and 10 assists, but just his ability to lead the offense the way he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's done, and I keep saying it is like. Ricky Rubio is a starting point guard in the NBA. We're just fortunate to have him here with us. So he can, control the game. He makes his teammates better. All those things, he uses his voice, he communicates. So I think this is, what we expected of him.
Barbara, right now, our academic journal, I know it's a small sample size again, but the turnovers to start the fourth, do you feel like the opponents that's their emphasis? Because
yeah, I think honestly it's been decisions that we've made when you go back and look at the film from Memphis, and then just from what I saw tonight, these are mistakes that we're making, and we've got to fix them. We've got to correct them.
And Colin was so efficient. Is he sort of like the calm, amongst the storm sometimes?
Yeah, he's the guy. He can go get a bucket in all types of ways. Sometimes, he gets the ball at the end of the shot clock and he's forced to, but he can stop or run by the opponent. He just finds a way to get the ball in the basket, and you need that during these games.
basketballnews.com. With Jarrett and in particular some of the 7-footers that are out there, is there anything technique-wise that they're not doing the same to get these rebounds? Because in the past we've seen them grab the boards. The first 2 games it just seems like they don't have, like, they're not in sync or something, and they're not in the right spots.
No, I think a lot of it is not just on them, and I think that's where we have to improve. It's everybody. Like again, you think about Memphis. Jarrett is battling Steven Adams. So if he does his job and keeps him off the glass, then other people got to come and protect him and come up with those rebounds. Same thing tonight with Plumlee and even Washington on Bridges. Those guys are going hard to the offensive glass. So, we've got to fight those fights. And then, we've got to help one another. Sometimes it takes 2 people to put a body on a guy. So we all have to be better in that area. We can't just put it on our big guys.
And then going off of Marlo's question about Colin, particularly with him and Rubio, because I know you like to feature Rubio and Garland together. Rubio and Sexton kind of reminded me a little bit of Deli and Sexton last year. How do you feel like those 2 work off of each other? And it seems like Colin gets really comfortable off the ball.
Yeah, I think when you have that experience and intellect that Ricky has, it's a lot like Deli last year. And so some of those same plays and reads that we were running are the same actions that we ran with those 2 guys. And those guys, obviously are capable of making those passes and making those reads and getting Colin the ball, off the move where the whole defense can't just stare him down because he's hard to guard anyway. But now if he's moving and people have to chase him and he has an advantage, he's extremely difficult to guard.
And I'm sure you're happy with how Cullen's not been hesitant to take shots. He's been taking these threes the first couple of games with no hesitation whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been pressing for. We've been trying to get more threes. Again, we talked about it earlier, trying to modernize our offense a little bit and create more pace and more threes. I think, he's one of the guys that has to do it. One, he's going to be on the floor, and two, the ball is going to find him a lot.
Jesse Washington undefeated. What are your thoughts at this point on the super tall throwback lineup?
Again, I think, we'll take a look at tonight and check the numbers on it. But, we looked at the numbers from it against Memphis, and the lineup is really good on both sides of the ball. What it allows you to do, is play with that size and length and shrink the floor, but it also offensively has skill. And that's the thing where I think it's different. And you mentioned the old school, like the threes back in the day were 6'10", 6'11", right? But they were really skilled with the ball, and they could put it on the floor, they could play make, and obviously they can make shots. And we feel confident that those guys can play with one another and play in space as well. Jarrett's strength is rolling to the rim. Lowry and Evan can play on the perimeter to create that space for him to do his job and get into the paint. And again, what we've got to do is we've got to continue to build the chemistry through the group, though, through those three guys. They've got to learn each other's tendencies so they can learn how to help one another and make each other better.
I just to lighten the mood, did you wish you could bring Myles Garrett off the front row there for a minute?
Yeah, no doubt about it. There was a few moments where I wish he could protect that paint for us.
Anything else?